So guys, the search for a new manager at Manchester United has definitely begun because Manchester United has parted ways from Ruben Amorim, and definitely Manchester United wants to get an interim manager now and then get a permanent manager at the end of the season, where Manchester United is going to have a lot of options and a lot of top managers to choose from. And of course, in our list today, we have a lot of top managers to choose from. We have a lot of managers to talk about, have a lot of tactics, a lot of formation, and how they are going to suit into the system of Manchester United. And so guys, if you're enjoying this video, I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Old Trafford. So guys, let's get started from somewhere. So guys, the first manager you're going to be starting with is obviously Xavi Hernández. You all know Xavi Hernández. I think any football fan that doesn't know Xavi Hernández literally started watching football just yesterday, and we all know what he was as a player. He was one of the best players we ever played the game, and he was a very important player for Barcelona. And then he moved into his coaching career. He started with Barcelona. He won the La Liga for Barcelona, and he was a very wonderful coach. But I know that a lot of football fans, Manchester United fans, they don't really know what Xavi Hernández is about. They don't know his philosophy, and they don't know how he plays and how he will intend to play for Manchester United if he definitely gets employed. Because Fabrizio Romano has already said that he would like to coach in the Premier League one day, and if the opportunity of Manchester United comes around, of course he's going to grab it. So guys, let's actually talk about the philosophy and the system of Xavi Hernández. Of course, Xavi Hernández was playing in a 4-3-3 formation when he was in Barcelona, but I think the formation is just literally to keep the players in a specific position, but there was a particular philosophy that Xavi Hernández was using to play when he was in Barcelona. So what was the philosophy of Xavi Hernández? His philosophy was a 2-3-2-3 shape. So that was a shape that Xavi Hernández was like he was using at Barcelona. So he likes all the field to be very wide for the players. He likes to make his field to be very wide for the players so that the players can be able to have a lot of closeness to each other. So Xavi Hernández likes to make the pitch very wide for his players, and he also likes his players to be very close to each other so that they can be able to combine passing circuits. So for example, he likes his pivot to be very close to defenders. He likes the pivot to be very close to the attackers as well, so that they can be able to connect passing circuits. And he also likes his fullbacks to be able to push wide and help in the attack. So you can see from the screen that is the way that Xavi Hernández likes to play. That what the philosophy was using at Barcelona. So he likes every player to occupy a certain position at the pitch, and he definitely does this by creating triangle at every portion of the pitch. Remember when Ruben Amorim likes to create triangles on both sides of the pitch? This is literally the way that Xavi Hernández likes to play. And of course, we all know another way that Xavi Hernández likes to play is basically to keep position. We all know as a player he likes to keep position, and he also confirmed in an interview that he literally would prefer keeping 100% possession in the game if it's possible. So of course, Xavi Hernández is somebody that is going to bring possession into Manchester United. Manchester United is definitely going to be holding much of the balls in recent time. And I want you guys to do your talk in the comment section on if this is tactics or if this is philosophy of keeping players close to each other and having much possession is going to fit the DNA and definitely the United way. And also the last thing that Xavi Hernández likes to do is basically to bring pressure to him. The coach that likes to press very high also confirmed that in an interview. The coach that likes his players to actually press and win the ball as much as possible. So that is how Xavi Hernández likes to play. So guys, the next manager I'm going to be talking about is obviously Julian Nagelsmann. That is definitely the coach of Germany national team. He's at Germany now, but I know that after the World Cup, he's definitely going to be looking for an opportunity, to try out a new challenge with a new club. So he's one of the managers we're going to be talking about today, and so definitely we are going to also talk about his system, because one of the reasons I like Nagelsmann is that he's a coach that is not bent or has a fixed idea of playing football. He's a very adaptable coach. He's a coach that that is very flexible. He has a lot of adaptability in the system. He's a coach that can play in the back three. He's a coach that can play in the back four. He's a coach that can play with a double pivot. He's a coach that can play with a single pivot. He's a coach that can play with a 4-2-3-1. He's a coach that can play with a 4-2-2-2 formation. So he's a very adaptable coach, and that is why I really rate him highly for Manchester United, because he can be able to play in different systems. He can be able to play in different ways, and he definitely does this by stretching the opposition. And definitely when I say stretching, definitely some fans are, you guys watching is definitely going to be contemplating what stretching is. I'm going to be explaining that in a moment. So guys, Nagelsmann is somebody that likes to, if maybe the opposition has like a weakness in their wings, he's somebody that likes to exploit the weakness of opposition coaches, and this is the reason why I like Nagelsmann a lot. So in terms of stretching, he's a coach that can be able to take his wingers very wide on the pitch to attract the opposition defenders, which is definitely going to keep like spaces in behind for other players to run in. And if he doesn't keep his wingers to be very wide on the pitch, he's definitely going to bring them close to the position fullbacks. So when he brings them very close to the position fullbacks, this is definitely going to attract the fullbacks to come close to these wingers that are occupying those half spaces, and then it is going to leave spaces for other players to run. That's definitely just like how Ruben Amorim wanted to play for Manchester United, but he didn't have the players. And I feel Nagelsmann is going to go through the same, because I don't think Manchester United have a lot of technical players to be able to play the system of Julian Nagelsmann. I think if Nagelsmann wants to be the coach of Manchester United, there has to be a lot of changes in terms of the personnel at Manchester United. There has to be a lot of changes in players. And also he likes to play definitely by playing with a minimum width, which means that he likes all his players to be together. So he's a coach that doesn't like to play with his players scattered all over the pitch. He likes all his players to be together so that can be able to create triangles on different parts of the pitch, so that they can also be able to connect passing circuit quickly and try to play those 1-2s. So of course this system is going to fit Manchester United, but I think the big question mark on the head of Julian Nagelsmann is definitely how he's going to carry out this system and this formation with the current players that Manchester United have. So guys, the next manager we're going to be talking about is definitely Oliver Glasner. We all know that Oliver Glasner is the coach of Crystal Palace, and his contract is going to be expiring by the summer 2026, and he's definitely looking to leave Crystal Palace to a more bigger club. And so what is the philosophy of Oliver Glasner? We all know that, I know that many Manchester United fans are very afraid, because when Amorim stuck with 3-4-3, he sacked, and then we don't want to go back to the back three. But I feel that Oliver Glasner is pretty a very different coach. I think he plays in the 3-4-3 formation more. I think he's a coach that likes to play with speed. One of the characteristics of Oliver Glasner's philosophy is playing with speed. He's a coach that likes to play with a lot of speed in his attack. So how does this happen? Of course, if you want to play with speed, you're going to need a lot of space, especially in the Premier League that likes to play a lot of physical, intense football. If you want to play with speed, then you need a lot of space. And if you want to have a lot of space, you need to dominate position, you need to press high, and need to try to press the position as much as possible. But I feel the system of Oliver Glasner is pretty different, because what he tends to do different from other managers is that he instructs his players to sit deep, of course, and then when they sit deep, the opposition team is going to have the leverage to press. They're going to have the leverage to try to want to dominate possession. But the issue is that if you lose the ball, Oliver Glasner kills you. So what he tries to do is that allow the opposition to dominate position, press, and then when they lose the ball, he's going to try to play with speed and try to break fast with his wing back. So what he does is basically keep Munoz and Mitchell at alert. So whenever the opposition loses the ball, he breaks with Munoz and Mitchell and try to play 1-2 combination with Mateta when Eze was there, and of course Crystal Palace are definitely going to be at a goal. So that is how Oliver Glasner likes to play. He likes to play with speed, tries to sit deep, tries to make it very difficult for you to break down, and then when he wins the ball, he tries to counter as much as possible. And many fans have been really saying that Oliver Glasner played with the 3-4-3 at Palace, and he has not played with another formation since he's been at Palace. But I feel that he's playing 3-4-3 based on the players at his disposal, because when he was in Wolfsburg, when he was in Frankfurt, he was exclusively playing in the 4-4-2 formation, where he likes to dominate position, where he likes to press very high. And when he was in Frankfurt, I think his PPDA at the team at the time was very high, and the position team spent very little time on the ball before they are being pressed and before they are being disposed. Well, his PPDA at Crystal Palace is very low, basically because the team doesn't press. He instructs the team to basically sit deep and try to play this play. So that is the difference between the Glasner team of Crystal Palace and when he was at Wolfsburg and Frankfurt. But I actually feel that he's going to be very flexible depending on the player that he has. So guys, the last manager we're going to be talking about is definitely Thomas Tuchel. So you know that Thomas Tuchel has been able to coach in the Premier League. He was the manager that won the Premier League for Chelsea Football Club. He was the manager at Bayern Munich. He was the manager at Borussia Dortmund, and he did very well in those clubs. And I think Thomas Tuchel is definitely going to be a very wonderful manager for Manchester United. And one of the key philosophies of Tuchel is definitely flexibility as well, because he can play with the 3-man back, he can play with the 5-man back, the 4-man back, basically depending on the squad that he has at his disposal. And from reports coming from Alex Crew and the others listening from the talk sports, you're going to find that they said Tuchel is at the top of the list of Manchester United if a manager, permanent manager, is to be brought in the summer. So of course we should be looking out for Tuchel. I don't need to say much about his philosophy, about his tactics, because I know that majority of the Manchester United fans already have a glimpse of what he has done in Chelsea, what he did at the Bayern Munich, what he did at Borussia Dortmund, what he did at Mainz, and also what he's doing at England currently, taking them to the World Cup. And I feel after the World Cup, he's definitely going to be looking to return back to the Premier League, and I know that he's definitely at the top of the coaches that Manchester United wants at the club, because of course Sergeant Ratcliffe was going to appoint Tuchel when Omar Barabi and Jason Wilcox decided to keep Ten Hag at the club. So of course I think he's definitely at the leader, and it's one of the coaches that Manchester United is going to be looking at. So guys, I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section on which coach is going to suit Manchester United the most, which coach is going to bring out the DNA of Manchester United. I also want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to that, to the platform as we make some more videos of Manchester United. So see you guys in my